What in the world? What could be happening? Brian Pratt just called me. He's seemed really upset, mad at the world. I wonder what's taking place at a time like this. Hey, Brian, what seems to be the problem? I got here as fast as I could. Oh, no. Oh, no.
All right, man, I can't believe I got these great seats right here in the middle. Man, they're just smarter than average bears sometimes. I show up before everybody else gets here. Can't wait. Big game. Bentonville High, Bentonville West. Sweet. Woo! Woo!
Rick.
No, what?
What are you doing?
Wait, what does it look like I'm doing? I'm sitting here, I got great seats for the game. Tonight's big game, Bentonville West. What's the matter?
Rick, I hate to tell you this, but don't you know the game is at Bentonville tonight at Tiger Stadium?
No, Henry. I covered the gamers last year. It was at Bentonville High School. I was there. I was walking the sidelines. If you're there one year and then you're back here this year, that's how it works in high school.
Rick, I hate to tell you this. You're right. The game was at Tiger Stadium
exactly.
last year. But what you don't remember,
what?
Bentonville West was the home team last year, even though because they didn't have this stadium. Bentonville is the home team this year, so it's at Tiger Stadium.
What says who?
Says the schedule, the 7A West schedule. Center, they won't play here until next year.
Oh gosh, I got the great seats and everything. I got my hot dog, my drink. What I gotta do now?
Rick, by the way, how in the world did you get in here anyway so early? On second thought, hey, wait,
what?
Don't tell me. I really don't need to know, but I've got a feeling those two guys want to know.
All right, sir.
Oh man, not again.
Come on.
Man, can I bring my hot? Oh, God. Henry, you got $45. How much it cost?
Well over 100.
100.
94, 95, 96, 97. It's 100. So about $100. That should be enough to hopefully to get Rick out of trouble and get him back on the set here for Prep Rally. We got to finish our last regular season show.
Hey, let's go. I got places I got to be.
I didn't know you could run that fast.
Hey, when you're being chased, you can run that fast.
Well, Rick, here's $3 for your troubles. I'll just keep the rest. If anybody else would like to donate, just go ahead and send me some money.
Every dollar helps.
So here we are, Rick. We're here for Prep Rally. This is week 10, the regular season finale. Got some big games on tap. I know we will get these in quick before I hear footsteps coming in behind us. I think you're in good shape. So we're going to go ahead and start from the place where you're really supposed to be, and that's at Bentonville High School tonight to see Bentonville West at Bentonville.
Man, you go try to get ahead of the curve. You try to do something a little bit smarter than the average bear kind of thing.
Hold it, let me stop you right there. The smarter thing.
Smarter than average bear.
There you
That's
go.
it. That's where I messed up. But no, we're back on track. We got the big game at Bentonville High. Biggest game of the year, 7A West Conference. I covered that game last year. Just electrifying atmosphere. Great game that went down to the wire. And hopefully I will be there again on Friday to watch the rematch.
I just have one big question. How was the hot dog?
I didn't get to finish it.
Oh, gotcha.
I might have to go back and get it.
Gotcha. It's probably still there.
It's probably still there.
Probably still there. So, Rick, I was at that game last year, too. You're right, it was an electric atmosphere. It was Coach Pratt said it was like being in a game in Texas. And high school football in Texas is electric. Yep. It's fantastic. I got there early. There was a line of fans around that stadium to get in last year. So if you are going to that game tonight, if you are going to the correct stadium, and you can go ahead and go to the West if you want to. There'll be plenty of seating over there, no problem. You won't get to see the game, but you could go to the stadium like Rick did. But if you want to see the game, you want to go to Tiger Stadium in Bentonville, I would suggest you get there early because last year it was just a madhouse. It was fantastic. It was a great atmosphere. It was a good game. I expect this will be another good game. You're right, Rick. It's for the conference championship. It's for the #1 seed. It's for home field advantage in the playoffs. It's for all the marbles, and that's how you want that season finale to be.
Absolutely.
So Bentonville West.
Yes.
They got their quarterback back 2 weeks ago. Will Jarrett had missed most of the season with an injury, ankle injury. He had suffered in the season opener at Owasso, Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. He's been back for a little over 2 games. Doesn't look like he has missed a beat.
And, hey, before you get back to Will Jarrett, what about the job Mr. McDowell, the sophomore, did?
Dalton McDonald,
yeah,
absolutely.
superb.
And, Brian Pratt has got to be looking at that going, you know what, we're going to be just fine.
Yep, for next year and the year after that. So, good job by Miss McDonald. But, man, Will Jarrett is a difference maker. And this is going to be another great game. How do you pick this game? I got to. That's part of my job,
That's part of your job. You have to do it.
I'm going to go with what Billy Dawson said at the first of the year. We were talking about how Bentonville West was the pick of most of the coaches. He said, no, not me. He said, I'm going to go with the champion. This is somebody dethrone them. Bentonville, I am agreeing with Billy Dawson. I think Bentonville High wins this game. Don't ask me how close. At least half a point, 1 point. Bentonville High will win this game.
So you're going with the black and gold this one to repeat as conference champions. Now, last year, Bentonville used this game and this win as a springboard to get them to the state final again. So, Rick, I've been looking at the 7A West, and I'm looking at Bentonville. They've won 6 in a row. Bentonville West, same thing, and they have their quarterback back. Fayetteville, they've been hot and might be the best team in the conference.
Absolutely.
Now that they got their quarterback back in Darius Bowers. Rick, that's 3 teams in the West, I think, that can make some absolute serious playoff noise and make the West is going to be, again, tough to beat in the playoffs.
But going in, you got to look at North Little Rock and then Bryant. We used to talk about the West. Oh, who's going to win it from the West this year? But last couple of years, North Little Rock and then Bryant, maybe the Central a little bit tougher. We'll see. This is a chance for West to regain the authority.
And I think we'll find out tonight which team from the West is going to be the team to beat. Now, that's not the only big game in the conference.
Well, that's not the only game?
I think you're still good. I think you're still good.
Let's talk about a couple more games.
Springdale at Van Buren. Now, this is not for the 1 or the 2 or the 3 seed. Okay, we've it's not going to be for that, but this is for 4. Now, 4 does get that home playoff game. You know, Springdale has not hosted a playoff game since the split, since the school split. Springdale has not won 7 games in a season since the split. So those are both goals that the team put out there before the season started, and those are both goals that Springdale could get Friday night with a win at Van Buren. Springdale has to win this game in order to get that number 4 seed. Now, even if they win, it's not a lock, because if Har-Ber could beat Fayetteville, Har-Ber jumps into that 3 seed. Fayetteville goes to the 4, and Springdale will be the 5. But Springdale cannot be the 4 unless they win this game.
Well, when you're saying that, I'm trying to digest it, because I covered Springdale for about 10 years. That 2005 team, perhaps the best team ever play in the Arkansas high school ranks. And then Har-Ber, they made the state finals and won the state champions like the second year.
Yes.
And Springdale is really, but they're coming back again under Zach Clark. But they lost their quarterback Grant Allen a couple weeks ago, and they've struggled. I saw last week they really struggled on offense. They got to find a way to put some points up. But
well, last week, Rick, this is where they were last week. They did not have their leading passer, Grant Allen.
Yep.
He's done for the season. Had surgery on his leg, done. They didn't have Garrett Vaughn. Garrett Vaughn is still the leading rusher in the 7A West and has missed 2+ games, and he's still the leading rusher in the 7A West. They get him back this week. I talked to Coach Clark. They get him back. Brock Pounders, their leading receiver, 900 yards in reception,
and a cornerback,
did not play last week. So how are you going to win a game if your leading passer, leading rusher, and leading receiver are not in the game? Let me tell you how. You can't. You cannot.
You can't. Yeah.
So this week they get Vaughn back. That in itself helps Springdale a whole lot. Then they get Pounders, a playmaker on the outside. That also helps. So what Springdale's got to figure out how to do is get the ball to these guys, because that's where they've struggled the last couple of weeks with Allen being out. Will Mueller, he's a backup quarterback. He's been in there. He was sacked 5 times last week against Bentonville. He could not elude their rush. So, protect the quarterback. He's got to have some escapability as well. Comes some on him, too, through 2 picks. So you got to count that, too. So, but this will be the second week without Allen. They should be prepared for that. They should have a game plan in place for what Mueller can do with the guys he's going to have around him. So they're going into Van Buren. There's a lot at stake here for Springdale.
Hey, I tell you what, Van Buren fans, hey, you ought to get that stadium because they should be jacked. They should have good playoff positioning if they win this game. Their numbers and everything don't look that great, but from where they've been, where they didn't even win a game last year, the record is just awful the last few years, maybe last decade or 2. But this is a big game for them. I like what young Casey Dick and his staff has done down there. They got a good receiver. They got a good quarterback. Van Buren could be a test for them.
Well, who are you picking?
I got to go with Springdale High, especially with these 2 playmakers back.
So they will be back for Springdale. That should make a big difference. Now, one more game in the 7A West we'll talk about, Fayetteville. We already know how good Fayetteville is when they have all of their weapons, and they do now. They've got Bowers back at quarterback. He looks phenomenal. They've got Connor Flanagan. He may be the best. Rick, I'm talking going back to Damian Williams' time when you mentioned 2005 Springdale. This may be the best receiver in the conference since then.
You know what? And it's amazing because I just saw him in the 7-on-7, and he really stood. He's not that big a guy. I don't know, 5'11", 5'10", and then. But you can't double them because on the other side they got Bo Stuckey. So they've got some weapons.
And when he misses, they got Luke Charbonneau.
Yeah, Luke. So they got some passing weapons. And Darius Bowers, if he's not the best quarterback in this area, he's certainly amongst the top 2 or 3. So Fayetteville, just watch Fayetteville. They're not going to win the championship, but I wouldn't doubt if they go further in the playoffs than anybody.
They could. Now, Har-Ber has been up and down. Their schedules had more to do with that, I think, with anything, because they played Bentonville, then they played, then they West, and boom, and then they got,
But they're beating the team they should.
They're beating the teams they should. So they're, Jay Burns last week, their running back, he had another 300-yard game. 2 times this season he's gone over 300, so they got a weapon in him. Har-Ber, I don't know how they stack up with Fayetteville. When Fayetteville's at full strength, Rick, I don't know, other than North Little Rock, because they've already beaten Bryant. So I don't know who can beat Fayetteville when they are at full strength. But Har-Ber could jump to the 3 seed if they could beat Fayetteville. So Har-Ber got a lot riding on this game.
I remember about maybe a couple years ago when Darryl Patton was still here and Chris Wood, they went back and forth. It was like a 45-38 game, one of the best games I've ever seen. So you don't know. They've established a rivalry since 2006 when Har-Ber was over there. And so, I mean, you got to lean to Fayetteville, but, on a Friday night, senior night, Fayetteville is at Har-Ber senior night. I don't know the weather, so you got to favor Fayetteville, but I wouldn't be surprised if Har-Ber really plays them a tough game.
Should be a close game. So that's the 3 big games going on in Northwest Arkansas this week. There's other big games in all the conferences. Rick, you talked to Farmington folks. This is the last home game at Allen Holland Field this Friday night, so there'll be a big crowd there at Farmington for that before they move into their palace of a football stadium next season. If it's anything like their basketball arena, wow.
I drove by there and I just saw the construction sign. That's going to be a beautiful stadium. 2,500 seats on the home side. At 1,000, they're going to have an indoor facility to practice. It's going to be really something. And Farmington, it's a growing community. They're getting great facility. But, man, I'm sure it's going to touch your heart when you get some of them older guys that have been there since the 60s and 70s, and Farmington had a real strong program. So in addition to senior night for the Farmington seniors, that's going to be, I think, an emotional night over there at Farmington on Friday.
You won't want to miss that. You'll want to wear that cardinal red and be there for that for sure.
Yep.
So don't forget, now also this is week 10, so we'll have a full playoff schedule in our Sunday Northwest Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. They'll have all the playoff pairings in the first round and all the classifications, so don't miss that in the Sunday paper if you want to catch what playoff games that you want to go ahead and pencil those in, get ready for that. Also, don't forget, you can catch this show every week on the What's Up Ozark app. It's a free app for your mobile phone or tablet or whatever you have, so don't forget that. Also, Rick, don't forget, and everybody else out there, our basketball tab comes out this Sunday. That's November the 4th. This Sunday, got Gafford on the front. Daniel Gafford, he came back to Arkansas this year instead of taking those millions from the NBA, came back, so he's on the cover. But we've got a lot of high school coverage in there, a lot of high school stories and stuff that are interesting from the whole 12-county area. So that'll be good, so don't forget that. That is this Sunday in the Northwest Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. Also, don't forget the great photos that you'll see all during this show and we've had all year long by our photographers at the Northwest Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. So make sure and watch those. Check out those great photos. Rick, how you like my jersey?
I love it. And congratulations to the Red Sox. I mean, you wear it proudly. You wear it well. Hey, one other thing before we sign off, you know where I'm going to be. The audience doesn't need to know. So instead of bringing a hacksaw, could you come visit, bring me a double cheeseburger and some fries?
I'll do that. And if that hot dog's still there, I'll bring you what's left of that, too. How about that?
No,
so thanks for watching this episode of Prep Rally, and we'll see you out at a football stadium this Friday.